All right, let's get right into it. When you look at a market chart, most of the time, it just looks like a bunch of noise, right? Pure chaos moving up and down. But what if? What if there was a hidden structure inside all of that? Today, we're going to dig into a really complex trading theory that claims it's found exactly that, a predictable, repeating pattern in the market's daily movement.
So, get this. This is the claim from the source material that really kicked this whole thing off. Just imagine being able to predict the high or the low of the day so accurately that you're off by just a pip or two. I mean, that's the tiniest price move possible. It sounds absolutely insane, but that's the mystery we're going to try and solve today.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Is the market just this series of random, unpredictable events, or is there actually an underlying logic, a hidden code that you can measure and maybe even anticipate? Well, this theory says there is.
So how on earth could a claim like that even be possible? Well, the answer starts with a concept that's surprisingly simple. The theory calls it the rule of 4.
This is the absolute core of the idea. It's called filling the numbers. And the theory basically says that the daily price action isn't just wandering around aimlessly. No, instead, it's actively trying to trade to 4 specific, quantifiable price levels. It's like the day's range is engineered to hit these targets. And that number, 4, that's the heart of this entire system. It really is the magic number that everything else is built on. So remember it, 4.
Okay, but how do you actually find these 4 levels? Well, the theory doesn't just give you a rule, it gives you the tools. It lays out 4 distinct analytical keys, and each one is a different way of measuring where those levels might show up. Let's take a look at how they work.
So our first key is a total classic, floor trader pivots. You've probably seen these before. They're just math levels calculated from the previous day's price. But the source material says to think of them not as entry signals, but as zones where the big institutions are probably stacking their orders.
Now here's the cool part, the actual application. You don't just look at the main pivot levels. What you do is you figure out the market's direction, and then you count 4 sequential levels. And this is important, you include the midpoints between the main pivots to map out your 4 potential targets for the day. The second key uses time as its starting point. It takes the price action from a very specific window, the Asian trading session, which is usually kind of quiet, and it uses that range as a measuring stick for the entire rest of the day.
And the process for this one is beautifully simple. You just measure the distance from the high to the low of that Asian session. Then you take that exact same distance and you just stack it on top of itself 4 times, going up from the high if you think the market's going up, or down from the low if you think it's going down. And boom, there are your 4 targets.
All right, our third key is a little more mysterious. The source calls it a unique proprietary measurement, the central bank dealer's range, or CBDR. And just like the Asian range, it uses a specific slice of time as its foundation.
And you guessed it, the mechanics are pretty much the same as what we just saw. You measure the height of this specific range, and then you project that same distance out 4 times. Each one of those projections is thought of as a standard deviation, basically creating a roadmap of 4 potential places the price wants to go.
Now for the 4th and final key. This one is definitely the most unique of the bunch. It's called the flout, and it measures the range that's created between 3 p.m. and midnight New York time.
Pay close attention here, because this is where it's different. With this tool, you don't use the entire range for your projection. You find the total range, you slice it right in half, and then you project that 50% size 4 times to get your targets. It's a small detail, but it's a critical one.
Okay, let's hit pause. So we now have 4 completely different tools, all designed to find 4 daily price levels. We've got pivots, the Asian range, the CBDR, and the flout. And this, of course, leads to the most important question of all.
Right? I mean, if they all give you slightly different projections, which one are you supposed to trust? Which one is the right one for today?
Well, according to the source, trying to just pick one of these tools and run with it, that's a rookie mistake. The expert method, the real secret to the system, isn't about picking one. It's about looking for where they agree with each other.
And that brings us to the master key for this whole thing, confluence. You see, the power of this system isn't in any single tool, it's in those moments where the projections from different tools all point to the exact same price level.
The word you're looking for here is overlap. Seriously, think about it like having 4 different treasure maps for the same island. A spot that's only on one map? Maybe it's a decoy. But the spot that's marked with an X on 2 or 3 or even all 4 maps?
well, that's where you start digging.
So what's the final answer here? It's that this isn't some magic formula that you just calculate once in the morning and you're done. It's a dynamic process. It's about analyzing, measuring, and remeasuring as the day goes on, all in the hunt for those powerful points of confluence.
So let's just recap the big takeaways. First, the core theory is the rule of 4, this idea that the market is trying to hit 4 specific levels every day. Second, we have 4 distinct keys to try and find them, and the most important part, the real secret isn't any single key, it's finding confluence, those powerful spots where the different maps all point to the same treasure. You also need some movement, some volatility for this to really work.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. This theory challenges you to look at the market in a totally different way. It forces you to ask, is what we see as random, chaotic noise actually a precisely engineered puzzle, just waiting for someone with the right keys to come along and solve it? What do you think?